got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.
Hey, this is Taylor with Believe in the Run.
And Reese with Believe in the Run.
And this is the Dirt Division podcast. Well, it's still the Drop podcast, but it's our little dirty take on
our PG
running.
dirty take.
Yeah, exactly. PG, trail running, that kind of dirty take. Although we do have Reese. We never know where this is going to go.
Yeah, which... Okay, I was thinking about this on a run. These are like deep thoughts on runs. And I want your hot take because I have my own.
Okay.
But do you think that trail running or shoes in general, running shoes, but definitely trail running, are going the same way as like cars are being designed? And let me explain.
Okay.
I think, do you remember like cars from like
EV shoes?
90s?
Yeah.
Like the 90s where like they were normal sized and then we just started making them all bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
And like a Tacoma now, unrecognizable.
That's a full size F-150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, shoes, I'm like, are we just adding stack to these? Like, is what's happening? And they're just going to get massive. And then we're going to remember like low stack shoes. And like, then they're all going to go back to that.
Here's why I think you're probably feeling this way. Did you run in the Norda 005 recently?
Yes.
Okay, is that what prompted this? Because I kind of had a similar feeling of like, you and I did our best in gear review video, and so many of the shoes that we got this year are in that like what would previously be like moderate to high stack. Wait, no, they are just like, they're high stack.
They're all high stack.
But they're not that surprising anymore. Like so many of them are high stack. But yeah, so it feels weird when we get something that's low stack and like, what?
And
connection to the ground? I know, especially the Norda 005. Like, phenomenal.
It was interesting because like this gal I'm starting to coach, she also has some ankle issues. And she was like, I just can't find any shoes that are low stack. I'm like, I know.
Well, and there's only a few low stack options that have like a modern midsole and like a lot of attention put into it. And so, maybe you're onto something. Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That.
I just remember seeing, because someone in my neighborhood has a new Honda CRV and then someone has the old Honda CRV. Okay. They are completely different cars.
So different.
Like, and I'm just like, we're doing the same thing that we did to cars. Like shoes are just going to be enormous. Yeah. And then we're going to be like, oh, people want small shoes.
Pretty soon we're all going to be running in the Hoka 10.9. Do you that massive thing that's like an eggplant for each foot?
I'm like, my ankles can't deal with it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
maybe that's Hoka, because remember when they came out with the Mafate way back when, and that seemed
that's
like
when I started.
So extreme. But maybe that's what's happening. They threw the 10.9 out there so that we're not so surprised by the time we get there again, which I think is actually one of Hoka's brilliant marketing tactics. They throw something in a shoe and then it'll feel extreme and different and maybe unnecessary, but then they come out with another shoe that has partial of that technology and bam, it's wonderful. That kind of stuff.
We're all going to be walking around with Grand Wagoneers on our feet.
Which those are just, oh man, those are. Is that the biggest vehicle around right now?
I don't know, but it is 1,000% the vehicle of Rocky Mountain National Park. It's Chugi
Mom Central.
Yeah.
If you have any kids,
vehicle there is a Grand Wagoneer.
And white.
Yep. It's a rental. Wagoneer. So, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
I mean, it has to feel comfortable. Which I guess, I mean, to be honest, a lot of these high stack shoes are pretty comfy. But I am one who does appreciate a little mix in there, some ground feel, a little bit of cushion. But I think that's where I'm thinking we're on our way to, of being able to have a lower stack, hopefully, but have some of the benefits of the higher stack, or at least some of the sensation.
Yeah. Well, thanks for indulging on my really deep thoughts while running. I think about a lot of stuff. Really, really deep things. Mm-hmm. Clearly.
Yeah. There really is, like, especially when you're like reviewing shoes and you have a bunch and you're constantly comparing, or so many weird analogies come into my mind of like,
yes,
I guess that's our level of deep thought, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, man, I should probably think about something a little more pressing than, are shoes the same as an SUV?
Well,
here we are.
I wonder, and then we can get down to the spiritual realm of what that's really doing on our inner soul.
Yeah, I'm either thinking about like shoes or reminding myself that I'm going to die one day, and am I doing the right thing? I'm like, am I living my life best? And so it's, variable.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah. And a lot of times, many of those thoughts in one run.
100%.
Yep. Yeah. But how has your running been?
Fantastic. I mean, I guess we're recording this.
Still on the fantastic
now.
Train.
Yeah, we're recording this now, but it's going to come out close to JFK. And
so this is probably your last real training update for us as you head into JFK.
Yeah, and it was like so much fun. And I went down to Colorado Springs and ran with some friends we went up to bar camp, which that's
I saw the cabin there.
Yeah, it's like, 6 miles up Pikes Peak. And I hadn't seen those friends. Like we all met, I guess, like 2011 and 2012. So it was kind of like a 2012 flashback. And this whole year has felt, it just has felt like a flashback kind of year. And everyone, it's interesting because I felt like they had changed. Like, one of my friends has 2 kids and another one has a kid on the way. And we all have like more gray hair, but it felt the same. Like we all, and my one friend, Brandon Stepanowicz, is just a phenomenal runner. Like he did Nolan's 14ers, like one of the first folks to do that.
Oh gosh.
So he is like an incredible athlete. And of course I was like on the last day of just like a 90-mile week. And I was just struggling going uphill. And
did you take the bar camp trail, which kind of has a lot of switchbacks? It's runnable, but has a lot of switchbacks. You didn't want to take the incline?
No. Oh no. But like he like floats uphill, and like Brandon had done back in the day, he had done like 4 laps of Pikes Peak in one day. He did 24 hours of the incline. And this was like before social media or anything. And so he's just like he's
a genuine weirdo.
He's incredible athlete, just totally understated.
And probably just doing the things that he likes to do. Not necessarily. Yeah. Does he race very much?
Not that much, but he's just one of those people that's just like always in shape, always phenomenally good at climbing, annoyingly so, and so unspoken about it.
So you're telling us you got crushed on the uphill at the end of your 90-mile week.
Yeah. So he luckily turned around early, and the rest of us were like, thank God. We are all dying. He's just like floating uphill. And I'm like, I literally am going to die.
Yeah. Which, I mean, up to bar camp, that's about like halfway up to Pikes Peak, right?
Somewhat. Yeah. We started a little lower. Okay. So I think it was like a little over 4,000 feet of vert that we gained.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So yeah, that's good to cap off. Is this going to be your biggest week in terms of mileage and time, or?
Yeah, for this training, it was like 90, and then I'm just hungry all of the time. I cannot be satiated.
So what types of? I know last week or at some point you had said you go to Five Guys every Sunday now in these big weeks. what kind of snacks? I feel like snacks are one of those things that runners just constantly need to have, and good snacks at that of like, I mean, there's a bunch of Halloween candy around right now that doesn't, I might take some of that in a big training week.
Oh yeah.
Actually a lot of that, but that's not a snack. What kind of snacks are you having, or nutrition are you using to keep yourself, healthy, honestly?
Yeah. So I met actually ages ago with a nutritionist who used to work with Scratch Labs, Colette, and because I was like, man, I'm just snagging all the time. Like I just struggle with big meals. And so everything kind of has like some kind of protein, some kind of carb. And so half the time it's like whatever, pretzels and hummus. It's, I love olives, which is weird. I love eating olives, like hard salami, but like everything has to have
Need
a
salts
carb.
and fats, huh?
Yes. Oh my God. And like trail mix with, I eat a lot of like the non-dairy yogurts, stuff like that. So anything that's like, I'm big on like texture. And so if I'm craving something crunchy, and like a carrot is not going to cut it if I'm craving a pretzel or like, chips, like I'm not that
You love
healthy.
my carrots though.
Yeah. But I think just like right now, I'm like, a carrot's not gonna, not gonna scratch the itch.
Maybe a carrot when it's been cooked with a roast and potatoes.
Yes.
Something like that.
I think it's really one, it's like, okay, what is going to be satiating? So like carbs, fats, protein, making sure that's involved. But then on top of that, there's like that, I think the emotional element of like, this feels good. Like this is what I was craving. Therefore I'm going to have it. Cause like, I'm not worried about, there's no bad food. And it's just, like, especially when you're training a lot, I'm just not someone that can like say you can't have this thing because you're training, except from probably like alcohol. I don't really drink a whole lot of that. Just because I want to wake up feeling really good. But yeah, I think for me, I'm like, if my brain is craving, I don't know, cheddar ruffles because I want it and it sounds good, like I'm going to have it.
The cheddar sour cream.
Regardless if it's like, regardless if it's like the best option. Like I don't care. Like it's what my brain wants. So that's
no wonder
fine
why you're hungry. I'm looking back at I don't surf Strava enough apparently. Okay, you're gonna love me just talking about all your runs. So going back to October 25th, 27 miler at 7:45 pace, and pretty much all of your runs are double digits. And you're not doing doubles. It doesn't seem right.
No, that's not good for me.
I'm not one that can really do a lot of doubles either. 15 miles, 10 miles. Yeah, pretty much all of them are double digit runs. But Teresa Ruland, what's your middle name again?
Ellen.
Teresa Ellen Ruland. I feel like you're going to be one of those unsung folks on the start line. I'm going to say it out loud right now of like, but you're doing these at like another 27 miler at 7:52 pace, 16 miler with, that's the one you went up to bar camp, 4K. And then, the day after or a couple days after, another 11 miler, another 11 miler, lots of different circles on that one. But I mean,
my watch.
Yeah.
My watch like auto detected my horseback riding lesson and recorded it.
Yeah. That makes sense now. The loops. So, I mean, once you get a little bit of a taper in, you're going to be feeling probably a little anxious to start, but also like you're ready. You're ready to compete. I know you're not saying you're going to compete or blah, blah, blah. You're a competitor. You're there to do well, and your training is suggesting if you're feeling good at this point,
I feel so
you're
good.
You're going to crush.
I did like an 11-mile run the other day or yesterday, and I think it was just easy, and my heart rate was like 135, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like walking this, but it feels so good. Like,
yeah.
So right now I'm just like, no one come near me if you are sick. No one. I have an immune system of like the worst. Like my immune system is shit. Please do not get me sick.
Just stay away, please.
Yeah. But
okay,
it's
so
been
you're not
fun.
doing any extracurriculars besides going to see the horses.
Kind of. I mean, I'm going to Estes actually for a little girls' weekend this weekend.
Okay.
I think sometimes, and maybe this is like, I won't get too far into the weeds on this one because it's like, it's a little bit of an esoteric trip.
Yeah.
I'll pause there for effect. And
tell me
we're
more.
just going to go up to the mountains. Yeah, we're going to go up to the mountains, listen to some music, eat some food, be in nature, and just like have fun.
Just be.
Yep.
I think
it'll
I
be a
see
good
where
trip.
you're going with this one.
Yep.
But yeah, that'll help you relax and recover.
Yeah. I'm looking
on many
forward
levels.
to it.
Yeah.
Yes. I think sometimes like I think my personality is sometimes I'm a very extroverted, but I think I have lots of like very introspective, somewhat dark, like we're all going to die, make sure you're doing things that are meaningful. And so I think this caters to that side of my personality of like, just feel whatever you're feeling, spend time.
I guess it's allowing you to be motivated more than like struck down.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a great week of running. I'm continually jealous of anybody who's running right now because I ran one time last week. And
Yeah.
It was in New York City.
I was going to say it was New York.
Which was, yeah, what a trip. And it was supposed to be like my last big long run training with you guys for JFK. And like I've come to peace in terms with all that. Can't really do anything about it. But like I think about next year already of like, you know, if I could get to New York City Marathon having just a good summer of training, and if I'm able to run New York City Marathon and use that as the last long run and try JFK again, like I think that's what Thomas is doing. And I think that's going to be a really good way to go about it.
Yeah.
But anyways, NYC, I've been taking some time off running, and we were there with New Balance for the New York City Marathon. And you know
cool.
how we've been to a lot of big events, UTMB, Western States, all that kind of stuff in the trail running world. And those are big. Like they're legitimately big, but there's nothing that I don't think, well, I mean, the New York City Marathon this year had over 59,000 finishers.
Oh my God.
And was the world's largest marathon in that sense.
I have like
it's
chills
just like
hearing that.
Yeah.
That's enormous.
Yeah, and it's just hard. You can't really wrap your mind around that unless you sat there from start to finish and watched every single finisher come on through. Because at any given moment after that like first wave came through, there was just, 5 to 10 people deep or more, depending on what section of the course you are on, just constant.
Can people actually run, or like it just feels so crowded? I'm like, I feel like the start line would be enormous.
Yeah, and I think the bridges are what naturally start weeding people out because there's five bridges, maybe 5 bridges. At least they go to the 5 boroughs. So let me think. Yeah. So there's many bridges, and those are what really like either make people's race or tend to slow people down. But at any given time, like we were mostly posted up in Central Park, it was just insane, like wild. And it's so motivating. I love these events because I'm just like observing runners, observing people who are cheering, and everybody's just there for one thing. Like there's like 100-some countries represented. Any, people to your left and right are speaking so many different languages, and everybody's just there for one common purpose of cheering everybody on or getting everybody, as many people as possible, to the finish line. Because it's just it's one of those events that you just kind of have to experience to really understand. Like you can see it all on it's kind of like UTMB in that sense of like, you can see it all on TV or read the statistics and get all the results. But until you see it, you just don't quite realize how amazing it is. And then I'm sure that goes to another level once you're able to run it. And
were you overwhelmed with the crowds? Like, to me, that would be overwhelming because like I like being alone while I'm running.
Absolutely. Well, that was part of it too, of like, so like initially I had this plan of like trying to finish Leadville, then going to New York, and like how opposite those two events are. Like most of Leadville, I was really on my own or with one other person going through the wilderness in Colorado. And there was every so often where there was, a bump in runners around me. But in New York, it's the exact opposite. Like everything is so opposite from some of the trail races we do. And that's one thing that intrigued me. And maybe one of the pieces like of adventure where you think of like trail running, I choose a lot of races or trails or camping trips based on having some sort of adventure feel of exploring something new. But I really like even felt that just being a spectator in New York City. Like I've been to New York City one other time as an 18-year-old for an afternoon. And during that time, I was really distracted because my wife, my love interest at the time, we were just texting back and forth. So I really didn't like the whole day. So I really didn't soak in the New York
experience.
No. So this was like, it really felt like an adventure of like everything was new, everything was explorative and just very different. And so I have a lot of appreciation for that event for sure. And even just like road running in general after being there, I still love to run roads. I don't have really any desire to do many races besides New York City Marathon and like Grandma's Marathon because I'm from Minnesota.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely have an appreciation that I don't think I could have had unless I've seen it in that way.
How many porta potties were out there?
None. We didn't go by any porta potties, but New York City is terrible for public bathrooms. Absolutely terrible. That's my one knock on New York City besides so many people.
I mean, the marathon organized, like the organization had to have rented out like.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. And at the start line, I know there's a ton of porta potties. We didn't make it all the way over to the finish because there was so much security around it. So I'm sure there was some there and I'm sure there was some along the way, but I'm sure they were all for runners, like on the inside of the gate. And so, but man, I like almost either had to use an alleyway or was going to be okay with wet pants the rest of the day. Of like, because the rest of the crew, so when we race day morning, Carl, Lowe, and I, we didn't race. So we were just out there capturing content, cheering on people. So the rest of the crew got up and they were out of the hotel by like 4:30. They had their bus over to the start, did all that. But we got to sleep in, got that extra hour with the time change, had breakfast. So I'm like indulging in all this stuff, plus all the coffees. And then we walk on over to mile 16 right off the Queensboro Bridge. And that was like a mile away from our hotel, a little more. And I just like finished my coffee, having a great time. I'm like, oh, I kind of got to go to the bathroom. I asked Carl, because he grew up in New Jersey, but spent a lot of time in the city. Like, where are there public bathrooms around to utilize? He's like, no way. And so like, we walked all the way to Central Park. I'm like double timing it because if I stop, I'm going to explode.
That gives me so much anxiety.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I did this one time going over Berthoud Pass in the middle of a snowstorm. Yeah. Yeah. You know that.
No. Yeah.
But anyways. Yeah.
I will go to the bathroom literally anywhere.
Yeah. But I've been like conditioned, like as a teacher, like here where I live, like there's nobody out here. I can pull over really even in front of someone's house and they would probably understand it, just like rural Colorado. But in the city, and I'm sure
Not
it happens a lot.
You're gonna
but
get like you're gonna end up on a list.
Well, and I have a teacher's license. And so like, boom,
Yeah.
that's automatically gone and revoked the rest of my
Yeah,
life.
you're done.
Yeah. And so I didn't want that kind of stuff to happen, but eventually I
No.
made a bathroom and it was great. And then right after that, yes, we did get glizzies. We did.
Amazing.
There are carts of food everywhere. And
Yes.
it was about like, of the 4 carts I visited, so like 75% of them were great. There was one time where it must have been just at the end of the day near Times Square, because I kind of wandered. I was just in this adventure mode. I wanted to see all the lights at night, so I wandered down to Times Square and did all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, talk about an experience. Very different from my everyday. Oh, and we were there on Halloween, so like going through the subway system, and I'm not even going to get started on the subway system because that's the thing that blew my mind.
Yeah, you were in like culture shock.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so like, but like kids are going around on the subway, neighborhood to neighborhood with their Halloween costumes. I'm like, whoa, that is so weird. My kid should just be like,
I did that in Washington D.C. When I went to college there. Yeah, we all just took the metro to like various neighborhoods. Like we would trick or treat on Embassy Row in our costumes. But yeah, it was just like a whole thing.
Place?
Embassy Row is where all of the foreign embassies are. And so you could go into different embassies and they would hand out candy to
So like we always knew in my hometown, like the neighbor across the street always gave out a can of pop. We called it pop in the Midwest, soda. Or like there was one time someone was handing out full candy bars. What do they hand out on Embassy Row? Like
everything.
12-pack of Mountain Dew and a gift card to your Chick-fil-A.
This was ages ago.
So Taco
I'm sure
Bell.
it has changed. I'm sure like you can't just walk into an embassy anymore. Maybe you can for Halloween, but like I remember different embassies gave out, there was like alcohol and different candies. And then some embassies that didn't like us, I don't think that they allowed trick-or-treaters. Yeah. You could tell what our foreign affairs were like.
Yeah, maybe
anyway, I digress. Yeah.
But yeah, at any rate, New York City was amazing. And even as trail runner can get pretty much, I really do want to go back and experience that as a runner. Like it was just,
I love that.
Such a unique experience. And I'm sure I know Carl's actually bringing together a video that we can link in here and you can cry over because you seem to do that over all of his videos.
I cry so easily now. The older I've gotten, the more I cry. And I do appreciate that last week we talked about, we kind of convinced ourselves into maybe one day leaving the door open for a 200-mile race. And now we're also excited about a road marathon. So Dirt Division's getting weird.
We're getting weird.
I
would say at the top of my list are definitely trail races for sure.
Yeah.
Or trail, like just trail adventures in general are so good.
All adventures.
Oh, like we talked about a few weeks ago, Anna Frost and Braz, her husband, have this company called Trail Running Adventures. So if people are interested in that, we finally have a code. So they put on these camps. It's more like a camp setting. Think of it as like a guided adventure, like Bhutan, Japan, Patagonia, Chamonix. You could do one in Colorado. You could, like, they have New Zealand. That's where Anna's from. And like, they have all of these different places that it's just kind of like an all-inclusive running trip. And so if listeners are interested, you can use the code BELIEVE100 for $100 off of your registration. And most of the trips are included with that code. That it'll work on most of those. And then pretty soon, maybe by the time this comes out, all of the trips will have that capability of using that. So if you guys go to trailrunningadventures.com, it will have all the information you would need and just use code BELIEVE100.
I'm about
That's
to use
my
that.
ad
I'm going to go to
voice.
Bhutan.
I know. When I was looking through the list, I'm like, holy cow. I think all of these are on my Christmas list now.
Yes.
So many places.
But I know what someone can get me for my birthday, which is like in 10 days. It'll have happened by the time this comes out.
Yeah. So what are you planning on doing around your birthday?
Yeah, running JFK. I was at the horse barn last night riding, and the ladies I ride with, they were like, do you want to come to this show on November 22nd? They're like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I'm running 50 miles allegedly.
Said, nah, man.
Yeah. And they're like, cool. That sounds terrible. I'm like, yeah. Yup.
Terrible in the best way possible.
Yeah. I took a trip down memory lane yesterday.
Before you go down memory lane for us,
yeah,
could you describe JFK a little bit? We've talked about it a lot, but we haven't really described it.
Yeah. Okay.
JFK,
I'll hold memory
50.
lane.
Yep.
Yeah. So JFK 50, if you're not familiar, it seems like it's a super important race because that's what we're talking about, but I'm just hyper focused on it. But it is the oldest.
Well, a lot of people are, like Thomas is doing it, Robbie's doing it. A lot of our trail reviewers are doing it. We have a lot of people associated with like Believe in the Run, Faster Bastards, that are doing this. And like, I'm so sad to miss out.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to get me to cry thinking about that.
Yeah. Well,
it's okay.
It is
okay, JFK 50.
The oldest ultramarathon. I believe the story, and maybe I'm getting this wrong, but JFK, president at the time, was like, you should be able to run 50 miles. And he meant in a week, but it turned into much more of like the military should be able to do this.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Much more, into like you should run 50 miles in one day. Yeah. And so it starts in Boonesboro, Maryland, and ends in Williamsport, which is where I went to high school. And so I've run all around there, but it starts on the road. Then you do the Appalachian Trail for about 14-ish miles, which it goes from like being somewhat smooth and then like randomly incredibly technical and terrible. And then you like drop into your first big like aid station, which is like Weaverton, after Weaverton Cliffs. And that's where like all the fast runners change their shoes, or just any runner that like doesn't want to wear the same shoe changes their shoe, because you need like a technical shoe. And then you're basically on the road for whatever, like 55K. And you're on the C&O Canal, which actually runs from, it's like the Chesapeake in Ohio. It's 180 miles and it goes into Washington, D.C. It actually runs by my house.
And is that's all like crushed gravel path?
Kind
like
of.
Limestone-y type?
It's a tow path. Like it looks like a dirt road. It will be covered in
towpath. Okay. So towpath. Like I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah. So the reason why it's like a canal is in some sections, there is, especially like the Cushwa Basin, there is the canal next to it. And so a horse used to pull a barge down this, and it would use the canal and go back and forth. And then there are certain like levees. Yeah. And so it's
in which you would tow.
Yep. Towpath.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And so that was like
makes sense.
A way to move goods between like along that kind of corridor back in the day. And then there's different like basins. And actually in Williamsport, there's the Cushwa Basin, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool, I guess. There's like a huge aqueduct that they redid. And it's super cool. It's where the Conococheague and the Potomac rivers kind of connect. And it's, I don't know, it runs right by my house. But it's like part trail, mostly road.
They're keen on calling it an ultra marathon. It's not a trail race. It's not a road race. It's kind of a mix of the two. Plus you get that gravel category
and then
there
a road
too. And then a road.
And then it's like 8 miles of road, maybe a little more at the end.
And so like historically this type of race, when you're talking about like some of the front runners, you said they will have a more technically oriented shoe to start, and then they switch into something that basically a lot of people just switch into road marathon racing.
Yeah. Shoes. Like a super shoe. Yeah.
Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's basically two different races when you break it down, or two different types of races.
Totally. And like, I don't know, I'm changing shoes simply because
I worry about you and Robbie.
Yeah, the shoe that I need for the technical section, like if I can make it through that without like twisting my ankle, that would be fantastic.
And you know this course well because You've run it before.
I have. I mean,
how many years ago?
18 years ago. It was the day after my 20th birthday that I ran it with my best friend. And I can't say I remember a ton.
You have more history too, like
yes,
like your cross country team, whether you work aid stations, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I went to Williamsport High School, and my cross country team would volunteer. I think it was at like the 42 mile aid station. And my cross country coach lives there. So I'm sure like I'll see him out there. And actually a bunch of my friends are like crewing that aid station. So I'll see them as well.
Now
so it's kind of like a hometown.
That age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a hometown kind of thing. But yeah, we would volunteer there. And then I think my senior year of high school, I didn't end up running indoor outdoor track. And I did that every year, like cross country, indoor, outdoor. And I just like wanted to have like a better relationship with running or like it again. And so my best friend and I, she was on my cross country team. I was like, let's run the JFK. And I think anyone that's listening to this will, if they are an ultra runner, or if anyone that's done a big endeavor, your first one, if you don't have a coach, might not go according. You're just not going to do it well.
Even if you read Hal Corner's guide to ultra marathon trail running, you might have a hard time. And it's one of the sports, like there's a lot of sports where experience pays for a lot, but you'll learn a lot on your first one.
Like I remember in September, we did our longest run ever. And until that point, I think the longest race I had ever done was a 10K. And then I remember my friend Laura and we ran 16 miles on the C&O Canal and just came apart. Like we went to the gas station Sheets. We got Slurpees. We were devastated, like fully. I remember eating a Cliff Bar on it and just being like, oh my God, this was the hardest race. And then we like didn't really like keep training through October. We would like do some runs, but we like, again, we had one 16-mile run. And I was looking at photos.
And my experience says that's not enough to keep the pain at bay for very long. Yeah.
So on like these photos that I have, there's like little captions because this was on like Facebook when I used it. And it just says, it's of us finishing. And the caption is, the best feeling in the world followed immediately by the worst feeling in the world. Because I literally like could not walk for like days. My mom took a video of me going down our steps at our house. And I was like at an angle so that my legs didn't have to bend. I was like crawling down them. I couldn't sit to go to the bathroom. Like it was crazy. But I remember finishing and being like, I have to do that again. And Laura was like, I'm never doing that again. And like my friend Brad.
Has she done it again?
No. But like my friend Brad, he did it with us. And like Laura and I like had matching outfits. We were in Mizuno's and we were like head to toe Mizuno. But Brad, he's going to do it this year too. And so he's a college or a high school friend.
Sweet.
So he'll do it. And like,
You're
I think
just
like
having all the reunions this year.
I know this whole year is like a flashback. And I think like for me, and I can like feel myself getting emotional.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad you care about it.
Yeah. Like I'm not someone who like, I don't know. I don't like do races because I think I'm going to win or like, I don't care about that. And like for this, like, I know I'm not going to like, and I don't care, but I think anyone who has ever like been through shit or like, and like they've seen the other side, I think like that's maybe this race for me because it's kind of like a phoenix moment is what I've been like feeling where like basically my eating disorder started like at JFK or like right before that. And like it wasn't caused by JFK. Like there's like so many factors. There's genetic, there's societal. And so I think to me, it's been 18 years and like so much has happened within that time frame. Like I am a totally different person. And so being able to one, like come back to it and feel so good. And even like right now, like I just feel amazing. I'm doing these like crazy long runs and I feel amazing and I'm recovering. And like the race, like finishing it honestly would just be more of like a cherry on top. Like I don't even know if I care.
Celebration.
Yeah, like it's just like maybe it's like a bow around a nice present, but to me I'm like, oh no, I'm good no matter what. Like if I twist my ankle in the first 14 miles, like whatever, nothing I can do. I'm not going to be upset about it just because I think anyone would be able to relate to this where like if you've gone through something, you've seen the other side and now you're able to kind of have this redemption and like feel yourself be a different person and be stronger. Mm-hmm. And that to me, like I've already won. Like that's the prize. Like the fact that I'm like healthy and like training super hard and like just I've had so much fun training that I'm like, oh, I don't care about the race. Like it's going to be fun to see everyone and do that. But I think just being able to, I don't know, like I'm going to be 38 and I think I'm like in a better place than I was when I was 20. Which feels crazy to me.
Especially when there's so many people who think of like back and those are the good old days and in some ways maybe, but to be where you are and knowing and feeling legitimately like these are the best days of my life type of. Yeah.
And I think that that's just so interesting because I think when I was 20, like I felt like I was on top of the world. Like I was like indestructible. I could do anything. And now I'm like, oh, I was wrong. Like I'm having such a good time. I'm like so much healthier. I'm just in a better mental space. And like, I'm not running from anything. I'm always running to something fun. And I'm like excited. And so I think anyone that's really kind of like fallen down and then gotten back up a bajillion times, I think when you're finally standing and you're not falling anymore, you're just so appreciative that to me, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just so psyched that I just like got to do the fun part, which is the training to me. And like, I don't know what, I'll be like, who cares? Like I could finish, like I was looking at this little thing and I always forget the time because it was so slow. 11 hours, 2 minutes, 33 seconds. If I finish at 11 hours, great. But I had a ton of fun training and just like, having a good time.
I think kind of like what you're saying too, of like, that's one of the reasons that I'm attracted to running as a sport for one, and not just as a sport, but just because it like mirrors life and is a saturated analogy of life in so many ways, like the more you experience it, and to be able to like kind of like manifest that in what you've done, and like your growth is so much more than your running, and you recognize that. That's a really cool place to be.
I could have never predicted that when I finished that race and I was like, I have to get this feeling again. I could have never predicted that like 18 years later, I would be doing it again. I would be like with the Believe in the Run crew. Like I would be like how much running would be pervasive in my life. And
it is a weird thing.
It's super strange to me. And I think, I don't know, like there were some like lows in there. And I remember signing up for this and being like, well, I should do it when it's 20 years for some like arbitrary like 20 year.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm like dark and morbid, and I was like, I could die. I should do it now. If not now, when? Like do it now. Yeah. Like you don't know what the future holds. And so I'm always like, do it now. Do it now. And yeah, I think I'm just like excited. And I don't know, I'm turning 38 on November 16th. And I've never felt this good.
It's going to be a celebration. Like,
yeah, I'm like,
that's how I view
a big party.
And ask like athletes to view their race too, of like, yeah, you might have goals associated with it, but like it truly is a celebration of everything that's happened before, not just in this training cycle, but life too. Like that's cool that you're honestly able to go out there and celebrate with the effort you're going to lay down, no matter the outcome.
Oh yeah, like so much could happen, right? Like you know this. Like I could sprain my ankle within the first mile and then just drop out. I could have a terrible GI day. Like who knows? But like I'm here for it. And like to me, I'm already super stoked on how everything has turned out, that like if I drop out within like the first 5 miles, sure, that'll be like a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, sure. Disappointing.
But who cares? Like,
yeah.
Like it
doesn't take away everything before.
No. Not at all. And like, this isn't my career. No one cares.
Or the
and honestly,
bonfire you'll have after.
Yes, the bonfire is going to be fun. It's George's. So it was my first 50 mile. And now it's going to be George's first 50 mile
ever.
Your
husband. Yeah.
Yep. And so I'm way more excited for him to get to the, I remember this getting on like a walk run cycle, and like Laura and I would do like 2 minutes of walking, 1 minute of running. And so I was like, walk early, walk often.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be such a cool shared experience. And like,
I'm so sad you're not going.
I know I'm sad too, but I'm excited. Like I'm going to be tracking and fun. Yeah, no, but it just shows that we need to do more of this kind of stuff, bringing the team together. Because there will be a lot of people coming together just from our Believe in the Run side, which will be just so fun. And for most, they will be also supported by Hoka, so that's going to be cool.
Love that.
So I'm intrigued to see, like, one, I'm going to ask about your potential shoe options, but what people choose to run in, if they'll choose to just do one shoe. Like someone was talking about the Mount Coast H1 as being a potential of being able to cross over. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. People are thinking pretty hard about this, of even like going one shoe.
I wish I could.
Yeah. It's probably good that you don't. So what are your candidates so far?
Yeah, I want to run in the Norda, the 05s, but I don't think that I should. My foot's just really narrow. And
and all of us who reviewed it, it's not necessarily made for a technical trail. I know people do it. And like the third place runner last year, Norda athlete, Matt Seidel, he wore it the whole way through and was fine. But I think your foot has to be able to fill that space pretty good. Yeah. So if you have a broader foot, it would be better. But mine too. Mine didn't just kind of stick in there like I would want to on technical terrain.
It's like I want it to work so bad, but it's going to be, I think I'll just do the Sky, the Vective North Face. I'll do that for the trail. And then I'll just switch to like a road shoe for like after 15 miles. And I wish I could just stay with one shoe. I'm not someone who's like trying to win. But
the majority of people who even are vying for the win will switch into Alpha Flies or something like that for the road section. So you're not at a disadvantage necessarily by sticking with one shoe. Yeah.
I just need to protect my ankle. I'm like, I'm taping it. I'll probably walk sections I normally wouldn't, but I'm like,
well, and it's so early on in the race.
Yeah. And it's dark.
This is one of those races, like, it doesn't have a lot of requirements in terms of like gear you have to carry, because there's plenty of aid stations after those technical miles. It's just mostly flat. So what are you going with? Like, are you going to do a belt? Or are you just doing handhelds, vest?
I'm doing a vest because I hate carrying things in my hands, and I just like don't want something around my waist for some
Let me
reason. I
guess.
like that bothers
Tantrums,
me.
Crest 6 pack.
Yes.
Mm.
Yep. But my mom, since, my parents live there, my mom will be my crew, and she'll meet me at like the crew points with more food, and like we'll swap bottles. But I'm not going to carry a crazy amount of water simply because there's just so many aid stations that I can
Yeah.
fill up at any time.
And like you said a couple weeks ago, like road runs, when you're a trail runner and then you do road runs, the miles just click by so fast. So whereas
Yeah.
like 6 miles on a trail might be, an hour and a half or more, depending on the trail, these will be like,
Yeah.
okay, you can really actually plan like I would, if I was going to do it, I was going to do the 1 liter Raid belt, the UL1L
I
belt,
want
1
that
liter.
so bad.
Dude, so nice. So nice.
I need it.
I
need to
will
get
wear
one.
it when I'm running more often. I will wear it more than the other belt, just as a day-to-day belt. It just really, really works. Unless you're going on a real long run, then I'll switch to the other one. But it has enough to carry, a soft flask in the back, gels and stuff in the front, and then I would do a handheld. So that would be my strategy.
I'm like a bit of a camel, and not that it's like healthy long term, but I normally drink on the road in like a half marathon. It'll be like 8 to 10 ounces of water with like an SIS beta gel, so that has some water in it as well.
Hey, that's what I use too. Those are good.
Yeah, if I just drink to thirst, I felt very good with that amount, and I've tested that like all fall. I'll probably bring more just in case, because I don't think I would rather have more water than not.
Yeah.
You never want to run out of water. Hydrate before you fuel, both at the same time if you can. But yeah, and it's going to be so much colder there than it is here. It was 85 on Pikes Peak the other day. I exploded. I was so hot.
Well, you'll be heat trained for a race. You don't necessarily need to be heat trained.
Yeah. Heat training's good no matter what the conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
We are super inefficient as for running. Like most of our energy goes into heat. So it's like 80% goes to heat, just FYI. We are 20% goes to like mechanical work.
Holy cow.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
So
get good at heat training.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share about JFK?
No, I'm just excited. Like, it's just like a little bit of like a weird flashback year and a reunion of my friends. I'm excited to see a lot of the Believe in the Run crew, and they'll come to the bonfire at my house or my parents' house. It's not mine, but I still say like I'm going home.
I mean, I still say my parents' house is my house. It's the one you grew up in.
It's haunted. Yeah, it's a little haunted, so I'm excited. It's like a 200-year-old stone farmhouse, so I'm excited for, like, George has never seen it. So that'll be kind of cool.
That'll be awesome. So
yeah.
Homecoming parade for Teresa.
Yeah, it'll be good. I should send you some of the pictures that I've seen. I was like, oh my God. I was eating like heed. I remember having like a power bar and almost breaking my teeth on it because it was so cold. I think maybe I've learned a little bit. This is
perhaps.
I do. Okay,
Trial
if anyone has
fire,
listened,
literally.
if anyone has listened through this whole thing, I would be curious to know everyone's first big mistake in their first ultra.
Yeah. Maybe that should be our topic next week.
Ooh, that would be good.
And hopefully you haven't made any of them during that race.
I know. I probably will.
I mean, that's the thing. You learn.
Yeah. As long as, you're just having fun, jamming out for a while, cruising. I'm excited to eat some pizza afterwards.
Oh, yeah. That's
Tony's
another topic we'll have to talk.
It's still there.
Okay, so post-race food. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
JFK.
Anything I'm sad you're not going, but you can watch the live stream.
Oh, I will be. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So Mountain Outpost, right? Mountain Outpost will be doing the live stream.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll have that on the big screen, cheering on everybody. And maybe I'll be able to run by then. Just be motivated by you guys.
Yeah, you will.
We'll see. But
I love it. Thanks
not,
for my
we'll still talk
for
about
being an emotional support podcaster with me. It just happens. The older I get, I just cry. And it's not even like I'm sad. I just like cry when anything's like an intense emotion, happy, sad, overwhelmed, anxiety. It's just like my only
You're a feeler.
outlet. I am.
My wife is the same.
Is she?
Feeler. Yep.
Yeah. Highly
we got lots
emotive.
of tears in this household filled with girls and me.
I love it. I feel like if Dawn and I went for a run together, we would cry on it.
Just cry. Let's just run and cry.
I would ask some question and both of us would end up crying.
Yeah, you should market that just for people who love to run and need to let all their emotions out.
Yes. Hire me.
Wow. Okay.
Hire me for your emotional support runner.
That might be the next thing, actually.
Yeah,
new
career.
One of the things at New York City Marathon, and then we'll be done here. But I was really, really inspired by a lot of the guides who were guiding blind and impaired athletes. That was amazing. But you can be someone's social or emotional support guide.
So my friend Brandon Stepanowicz,
which could actually be a real thing, not just a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, but like Brandon, he does that. He does the guide. He runs with blind runners. Again, nicest human being in the entire world, and just
go Brandon. I'm a fan of Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon, such a chiller. Nolan 14ers, just like back in the day, no GPS. That's like when it was like, or they were like, yeah, you weren't supposed to use GPS. You weren't supposed to use any mapping, anything like that. And so they did it with no help. I was like, it's pretty cool.
Wild.
Mountain man.
Maybe we need to get Brandon on the pod.
Done. He would do it.
Okay. We have some things to talk about next time.
Okay. This was fun.
Okay. Peace out.
Bye.
Hey, this is Taylor with Believe in the Run, and today I have a special guest. You may know him by Epic Bill. He's been around for a long time doing amazing endurance feats, but that's not what characterizes him. I recently watched a documentary about him and some of the challenges he endures and goes for willingly. And I'm just amazed. And I just want to say, Bill, thank you for coming on and welcome to The Drop.
Thank you, Taylor. Yeah, super excited about being on The Drop. I've been yelling out of my car window, drop power all the way over here.
Well, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm admittedly not a people person. I love people and I love getting to know people. I'm not a big group person, I should say. And sometimes meeting new people, even virtually, can be awkward, but I feel like as soon as we both came on, it was just, we're kind of kindred spirits in some ways. So I'm excited to get to talk to you face to face, even though I just watched your documentary, which I know in an hour, you can't explain everything in life, but it does a really good job, I feel, of explaining your relationship to endurance sports and how you came into them personally. Would you be able to give us a little bit of background with that from you personally?
Yeah, for sure. I was a runner in high school. I ran like the half mile and the mile, and then I graduated, and I took up partying, I think. And the running just kind of disappeared. I was working for my dad's electrical contracting, business. And, and you work hard and then drink hard, and I ended up, I got married around 23, I got like 3 kids, and around 30, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, you know?
Okay.
And it just like, I don't know, you know, all the partying and drinking was, I looked in the mirror one day, I go, this is not who I am. And definitely after, and I think it was that Tony Robbins seminar that got me thinking about it, you know, like there's a purpose we all have in life, you know, and mine wasn't to be the best drinker in the bar. I was a, you know, I forget what they call that type, binge drinker. I was a binge
There
drinker.
we go. Okay.
I forgot what type I was. But anyway, so yeah, I went to this Tony Robbins seminar and it was like the first time I'd have fun on a weekend without drinking in like a decade, you know? So I went home and I literally looked up a running club and I went for a run like the next weekend with these guys. And I hadn't run in 10 years. And I was using Tony Robbins' mind shit to stay with them, or roughly with them. I really wasn't fit enough. It was just mental, man.
Yeah. What year was this? Like,
oh, God, I'm only 30, so you're going to screw up my age. But that would have been around the first time I turned 30.
Okay, yeah.
So it would have been like, what would that be? I don't even know. Let's see, 30.
And was this like, I mean, to look up a run club?
Like 1990.
Yeah, to look up a run club, maybe you were in an urban environment, but I mean, run clubs are popular today, but they weren't all that popular back then.
Yeah, I looked up the run club and I went down and you know, you all meet at, and I live right near there now. I mean, I lived in Santa Rosa for a long time and now I'm back we're down there. God, what is the name of the run club, man? And I know it.
Yeah, I wonder if it still exists. Do you know if it still exists?
I have those every once in a while. I think it's from all that decade of drinking.
It's coming back to get you.
But yeah, we met, and then I kind of did all Tony Robbins mind stuff, and I was able to stay with these guys most of the way. Maybe they left me like the last half mile of like a 10-mile run. It was crazy that I was able to do that with like no training, you know. Yeah. And then that, you know, and then within about a year, I remember I looked in the mirror and I go like, I'm more than this, and I quit drinking all the way, you know. So then you got you got time on your hands now, right? Because you're not drinking at night and you're not hungover in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started running again, you know, and it was just like, I started running with that team and you know, and that was my first phase of doing stuff, you know, of the running, you know, and that was just kind of casual. And, but it got me, you know, out of drinking and stuff. And then so I was running kind of casual. And then I I'd watched the Ironman on TV. And so I went from running to starting to bike too. Yeah. And that was it. Yeah. I started biking too because a relative of my ex-wife was a biker. And so he got me in to start riding. And so, you know, as soon as I start doing stuff, I go right to the, you know, for the hardest I could do. So I'm racing like crits, you know, and all this crazy stuff. And, but then I eventually got into the tries, you know. So I remember like kind of my crit biking career ended when I moved up a level, or I don't know what I did, but I got cut off in a race, flipped over, landed on my head, and broke my helmet.
Oh, geez.
Woke up in an ambulance. And so I said, oh, well, I want to do more triathlons anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to get my butt knocked out. But it was like, I went back and did one more race because I had to get on the horse, you know, when you get that fear, you know. And I came in dead last, but I did one more. And then I go, okay, now I'm triathlons all the way, you know. So yeah. And that was that was in the 90s.
Okay, and during this time, a large part of the documentary, which is available on Apple and
Amazon.
Large part. Oh, great. Okay. a large part of that story, though, and it starts with you and your video store. You were a very successful business owner, and I remember hearing in there that you were motivated by your dad, like he was similar in that way. Can you tell us a little bit about your business then, and did this coincide with the same time of you kind of starting running?
Yeah, well, I was 23, and it was just a period where, I'd seen my dad started his construction business, his electrical contracting business at like 40 years old with 4 kids and $5,000 in the bank. And he started and was very, very successful, very successful. And so it motivated me. So at 23, I was working for him as an electrician, and I was motivated. I'd already bought a house, and like I said, I got married at 23, and then I was just like, I don't know. I thought, business was my calling then, so I wasn't running. This was during the decade of partying that I was telling you about, 20
Still
to 30.
There? Yeah.
Kind of goes with, our saying was, I'd go to a video convention because I had a chain of video stores like Blockbuster Hollywood type. We had an independent chain. We got up to like 13 stores. But when I started was with credit cards because the banks wouldn't loan me any money. And they wouldn't loan me. It was $50,000 to start a store back then. I could borrow $25,000 off my house. I was $25,000 short. I remember I walked in 3 different banks. I had appointments to see the loan guy. And the guy goes, well, if you don't have collateral, you know what I mean, and you're using your collateral already, then we can't help you. And I remember when I got to the 3rd bank, the guy stood me up, man. I go, no, I have an appointment. I go, oh, well, he went to lunch. I go, you don't understand. I'm going to be an important guy someday. He's going to regret this. So then it was like, okay, the regular banks aren't going to work, and I never get stopped. I don't allow things to stop me at all. And so I kept asking people, and if you're trying to do something in life and you just keep asking people, and if you have passion, the universe will send somebody to help you. And my ex-wife she talked to somebody at work saying how we were trying to get this loan for this video store. And she said, you should talk to my husband. You should talk to my husband, Kenny. He does loans for car dealerships, right? And back then, the car dealership loan guys were, they would push the envelope to get you a loan to buy a car. And they go, that sounds exactly who I need to talk to. We need to push the envelope.
They'll get you what you want.
And so, what he goes, hey, Bill, he goes, do you have a credit card? I go, yeah, I got one. He goes, well, this is what you need to do. You go to downtown San Francisco, you walk in every bank and you pull out a credit card application. And he said, you fill them out and you mail them all in at one time. And we did that, me and my ex-wife. And it was like, we probably got there was a ton of banks back then in downtown San Francisco, 30 or 40 applications, sent them in. We got 15 credit cards back and we charged the second half of the store.
Wow. So then what was it about, could you, at 23 years old, I'm trying to think back to when I was 23, what did you see in your dad that was now, successful?
You look like you're younger than me, so you must be like 25.
I'm barely 23. How about that? Yeah. But what did you see in your dad? What was defining success for you that motivated you to want to venture out onto your own business? Was it financial success? Was it you saw characteristics
I think he had
in
freedom,
him?
You know what I mean? When you're the guy in the service van going out to work, you know what I mean? You're going out to work and put your 8 hours in or 10 hours or whatever it would be that day and running whatever job you had. My dad had to worry about everything, but, he could go to lunch with, other contractors, things. He just had more freedom. I wanted freedom. Yeah. I mean, that's what I wanted was freedom was my main thing.
Okay. And then what was it about the video store itself? Was that a passion of yours or
Oh yeah. My mom and me used to go to movies all the time. I loved movies as a kid. we had a big bond about that. Probably, like when I was just after high school, we would once a week we'd go out to a movie and watch a movie pretty much with just me and my mom,
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, and just I had good memories of it. She loved the Academy Awards. We'd have big parties about the Academy Awards, and she really loved movies, and it made me love movies because I really love my mom,
Yeah.
And, yeah, so when a little video store popped up in our town, Novato at the time, I said, wow, this is so cool. Too bad there's one here already. So, yeah, I love movies, and we ended up going about 3 towns down to where there wasn't a video store, and I got that loan, like I told you, use those credit cards, put that store in, and we were rolling. I loved it. I love movies. And I loved business too. My dad was a big business guy, so I love business too.
Yeah, and one thing I love, no matter what arena you're in, whether you're in business or endurance sports or whatever, it's just like I can so appreciate passion, right? Of like when someone's passionate about something, there's just a magic there that just is really motivating, like you said. And so like you can get that through the film that they made about you, but there's a lot more than just video passion, because that's kind of a short part of the overall documentary, is that part of your story. Like there was success there, but there was also failure. Do you want to speak on that a little bit before we get into?
Yeah, there was big failure. I mean, I don't know what you define failure. I mean, it's a big setback.
Yeah.
But the video business went down. I'm a guy, if you watch the documentary, I do not like to quit. I don't. The fact is, I don't quit, man. I keep trying things and trying them. And so when I was in the video business, there were signs that technology might be passing us by, and I chose, because we had risen to one of the top 10 independence video chains in the country from that little. When I first started, there were 10,000 video stores of us little mom and poppers. And at the end, I was in the top 10 of.
And you said you had what, 13 stores total?
We were up to 13 stores. I think it was the top 10, maybe top 20. I don't know. But we were doing $10 million.
To be able to be that successful on, I mean, compared to something like Blockbuster would have had way more than 13 stores, right? And they were probably the top. But
we competed with them like crazy, but we would have in a 4-hour period on a Friday or Saturday night we would have 1,000 people come through in a 4-hour period.
Wow.
I mean, we made it an event, we'd give out free popcorn, free piece of pizza. It was like, because I knew about happy hours from my drinking days. I said, we need to do a happy hour.
Wow. That's a great one to pull over.
We had free popcorn. We gave out so much free popcorn as they were walking around the store looking for their movies. We had to hire a popcorn sweeper so the store wasn't such a mess.
Well, and I mean that's another thing too, of like if you can bring culture into your business and passion, like, and it seemed like from the film that you had really developed that in a unique way. Are people a passion in that same way too for you?
Say it one more time.
Are people and community a passion for you as well?
Oh yeah, I love. Yeah. I mean, I want to help people. You know what I mean? That's a big thing with me. We're doing a live chat now once a week, trying to develop more community. I'm probably not a good guy. Like if I get a bunch of messages, you know what I mean, or that stuff, and responding and sitting on a keyboard for hours and hours. I'm not going to do that. Too. I mean, it's, not that I get that many anyway, but I can get on a live stream once a week to try to develop community. We just started doing that. So I'm, trying to develop a little more community, but I definitely 100% want to inspire people.
Yeah. And I mean, what was inspiring for me from your film was that like you didn't, as much as success as you also had maybe equal amounts failure. I recently tried Leadville 100. It was my second 100, and I had to pull out at 50 miles. And it was hard to not let shame take a seat at the table with failure. And you're someone who seems to be very motivating, very positive. You have so many mantras that you're able to share. And in most of the film, even in the really hard times, like you're smiling and just kind of like, just keep going, just keep going. Like, where does that come from? Has that developed in you? Like, was it just an innate character trait from growing up, or where does that steadfastness come from?
Yeah, I don't like to quit, man. I just don't. I push as hard as I can. I think it comes from, I've been thinking about this a long time. In junior high, I was playing all the ball sports, right? And I didn't grow till I was like a sophomore in high school. So I grew a foot like in 1 year. But in ninth grade, I got cut from the basketball team, the baseball team. I couldn't even make the top 3 in track, which was my thing at the time we were doing like the 13:20, 3 laps around. I couldn't make the top 3. So I was like, I couldn't even play any sports. And I was like told, I remember when I got cut from the basketball team, I went in the thing and I looked at the list and I went down because I'd been kind of good when I was really young, and I went down the list and my name wasn't on it. And oh my God, I ran into the locker room crying. And, it was just like, I couldn't believe, and so I remember as a sophomore, I went out for soccer. It was new to our school. We didn't even have a soccer team, and they didn't cut. That's why I went out. I couldn't take being cut again.
It's like cross country. Yeah.
And so, but at that time, I remember there was a guy who got cut off the baseball team with me, right? And instead of everybody else never played baseball again, or at least not, hardball, maybe softball later. But, and he, instead of playing soccer, he practiced. And he went back out for the sophomore team and made it. And that got me, man. He didn't quit and move on. And so as here I'm playing soccer, which I was no good at, had no passion. You know what I mean? It wasn't something I ever played as in youth sports. And then after that guy did it, I remember I went, my buddy, we were up in Tahoe and he was still running on the track team. He was really good, actually, and we went for a run in Tahoe the summer of my sophomore year, I think, and like an 8-mile run, and again I hadn't been running, and so we got halfway and I was so screwed up I had to take a bus back. I had to take a bus 4 miles back. I said, I'll meet you back at the hotel. But it lit a passion on me, you know what I mean? That little run with him lit a passion on me, and I started, and I started running again and got in good shape for high school, and ended up being, I went out in my junior year for track, and I got like 5th in the county in like the half mile. I was a half mile miler, did 4:43. Kind of did roughly around the same times in high school. I never trained during the summer back then. I just, I don't know. I wouldn't commit all the way like what I do now. Now it's like I probably overcommit, so, but yeah, that got me all into it. I loved it. That running in high school, I loved it.
Yeah. And that never back down attitude is really pervasive in your story. And a lot of, you've gone on to do so many more things than just run a mile in high school. And I can't remember right now if it was kind of coinciding with your business going down or if it was before that or just after it, when you started doing some of these really extreme endurance endeavors, I'm going to say, because there's so many of them. Could you name some of the endurance things you've done over the years?
Oh, yeah. Well, I rode RAM. I rode across America. I was a little after the cutoff. I was 16 days. 4 days after the cutoff, I was, I don't know, what was I, like 16 hours a day in the bike seat or something like that, you know? I remember my ass hurt so bad that when I was taking clients to lunch back then, you know, that was when the video business was, I don't know. It wasn't, I think I went back and did some work to make some money during when it was slow, you know, in the construction business. And I remember I'd take people to lunch, and we'd walk in a restaurant after Ram, and I'd go, "Ooh, dude, hard seats here, man. We can't eat here."
Too fresh in your mouth.
Yeah, I couldn't sit in a hard seat. I mean, some of it was metal, I'm sure, but a lot of it was still in my butt.
Yeah. You can't fake that. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but after high school, after that thing was when I decided I was never going to quit again. When I went back and started running so good in high school, I go, I am never going to quit again. You know what I mean? I was a quitter in junior high. I quit, you know, basketball, baseball, football. You know, I quit track temporarily. And to this day, I still haven't quit anything. It's almost killed me sometimes.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you're going 10 plus times of going after Arrowhead 135, which is a 135-mile race in the dead of winter in Minnesota. And I know that well. You've done things like Badwater twice. And do I remember right? Badwater 4 times?
4 times. I'm one of 4 people to ever do quadruple Badwater. You got to be really good at not quitting to do 4 times across Death Valley in the summer, 110-degree heat.
Oh, man. And that's the thing of like some of these challenges that you've done are really when they were popular. I mean, they're saying that like 200-mile races right now are the new 100s. But you were doing all this kind of stuff out of intrigue and out of the spirit of never quitting. And it's really inspiring. So of those many, many things, I mean, you could add Everest and K2 to that list. You've done those.
No, I haven't done those. I tried Denali 6 times. But
oh, my gosh.
Everest is definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah? Is that what you're pointing toward right now?
Right now, I'm training for my 6th attempt at the English Channel, 21-mile swim from England to France, no wetsuit, no brakes. I made it 20 miles, and then I got separate on my 5th attempt and got separated from the boat by a storm, and then I was out there treading in the Whitecaps. And I couldn't find the boat, and I felt like the guy in The Perfect Storm. Remember when his boat sinks? I'm like, oh, this isn't good.
But somehow, some way, you want to go back.
Yeah, I saw I never quit, man. I have nightmares, but I don't quit, and I re-sign up and I go back.
So, of all these different challenges, I mean, obviously, there's something more than the physical realm that is impacting you. Of all of these, what are some of the ones that are like the most memorable for you, perhaps? And maybe even like, I know there's some that, again, like you said, are haunting you to this day that you're continuing to go after year after year after year. Like what are some of the standout? Well,
like you said, Arrowhead, I was like you for a long time. Like you said, you know, you didn't make Leadville, and you're like, oh man, you know, and you get a little bit down, and I would be depressed for like weeks after I didn't make Arrowhead, because that was the first big thing I really didn't make. Right, I'd been making everything, and that was the first big thing I really didn't make. And
could you describe Arrowhead for listeners those who wouldn't know? It's a hard thing to even describing it because
I've tried it 12 times.
Exactly.
So, yes, it's a 135-mile race in northern Minnesota, right on the Canadian border, the coldest spot in the continental U.S., and the guy who came up with it was a genius. He said, well, let's do a race in the coldest spot in the continental U.S., and he graphed or whatever you do the temperature for 10 years and found out what the coldest day of the year is on average in that 10-year period, and that's when Arrowhead starts. And that's why I love that frickin' race, man. It's been minus 50 twice when I've been out there. The first year I went out there was minus 35. I had the best. So you're going 135 miles. Your first checkpoint is at like 35 miles. We always think it's long, like it's more like 37 or something, because it seems like forever to get to it. And
yeah. I can't imagine.
And then the second one's at like 70. And then the third one is at like 112. I've never made the third checkpoint. It's a little teepee. I had to go visit it just so I could get a visual of it. But I've made it 98 miles, and just, yeah, I had trench feet. That year I made it 98 miles. I had trench feet on my feet so bad that I took a break, went to stand up in my, after sleeping for an hour, and I couldn't stand up. My feet outswelled my shoes. But it's 135 miles, extreme cold, frostbite. I've had frostbite there, minor frostbite there, major frostbite on Denali. But yeah, and people have lost parts there, you know what I mean? Because if you get out there and panic, or something when it's cold. One year I was going to pull out my sleeping bag, one of my earlier years, and I went to unzip my sleeping bag, which you need to get in to, that's like your last resort, for saving your ass. And the zipper was frozen. I go, oh my God, I was all bonked and freezing. And I'm going like, the zipper's frozen. I'm trying to pull on it. I can't get it. I go, okay, I got to jog down the trail a little bit and get my heat burned back up. And then I run back to my sleeping bag. I go, okay, Bill, you got to pull this zipper open. Your life depends on it. So I had extra strength and got it open. And then I got inside of the sleeping bag. I was like,
See, in those types of things, just wouldn't, to the normal person, and you and I are, ultra runners, and that's not a normal person's thing either, but you're taking this to the extreme. And I know there's obviously this will in you to not quit, but what else? What else is going on in your mind and your heart that just keeps bringing you back, even to the things that you've done? Like you did Badwater 135, but then you came back and did a double, came back and did a quadruple. Of like, what keeps bringing you back other than the will to not quit? Because you've been really successful at a lot of things too.
Right. I think the ones I haven't been successful haunt me, man. They haunt me, and I want to finish them. And I think I was put on this. I used to think I was put on this earth when I made a lot of things in the beginning. I was making everything. And, and I go like, oh, I have such great talent, man. I don't know. This is like, I almost have like superpowers at this. And then I got to Arrowhead and I go, oh, maybe I don't. Also, that what I've been doing, so I did everything in the desert. I did a solo Badwater, a double. It's like if somebody can do it, I think I can do it, right? I'm not going to be as fast as anybody, but I think I can suffer as much as anybody, pretty much. Sometimes a debate if I could suffer as much as Goggins. He looks like he's a pretty good sufferer. But I think I'm in the ballpark with most people at suffering. And I think that if somebody else can do it, I could do it. You know what I mean? I always think that. I go, if they could do it, I could do it. They put their pants on just like I do. And if they could do it, I could do it, So, and I don't like people to one up me, man. I go, if they could do it, I got to do it, and obviously I've had trouble with it. That darn, the unsupported Badwater, after I did a single, a double, a quadruple, but I had a band for support, and then I started van, and, but I was out, 3 weeks I was out there, and I thought, man, I'm pretty good in Death Valley. And then I go for that solo self-contained where you're pulling a cart with all your ice, water, and food across Death Valley, and you have observers, you have no crew, you just have people to make sure you don't die out there. and I hit it, and I always pick my date ahead of time, and I'm not going to change, right? I will next time. I keep hitting the hardest
better
when I'm out there, man. And so the first year I did it, it was like there was all these warnings on the news, like, don't go out today. It's going to be one of the hottest days ever on Earth. and I'm in Death Valley getting ready to pull my cart. We made a movie on that too. I had a guy filming it. It's Pushing Mercury, it's called. Yeah, it's on. It's on. I don't know what it's on, but it's going to be on everything soon. Woo woo! But anyway, so we went out there, and it was like there was all these warnings on the news, like don't go outside. And I'm going like, I'm in Death Valley, and I'm not only going outside, I'm going to pull this cart. And I lasted like, I don't know what I lasted. I lasted till 3 p.m, and we had a thermometer, and it was blowing past 140 in the sun,
gosh.
you know, and I don't have no reprieve from it. And I remember I was getting to the 17 mile, the first checkpoint that they have in like the race, you know, or Furnace Creek. And I went up this little hill, and man, I just started puking like crazy, man. It's like, and I've gone back, I've tried that 3 times, man, but that's hard on me, man. That one's hard. You see your maker there, man, when you got no reprieve from that sun for, you know, eight hours, it's tough.
Well, for the same reason I don't live in Minnesota anymore, because of that extreme cold that's like no other. The heat in Death Valley is like no other either. But you're still motivated to, go to these extremes. And do you ever foresee a time that these challenges, you'll be satisfied with them? Or do you just find other challenges that you want to pursue? Or how does that go in your mind? Do you just have such a long bucket list, and you've already said you want to do them, and you're not going to not do them?
I don't know. It's tricky, man, because, you know, I'm watching like that Moab 240, these 200 milers. I did a 200 miler. I read Dean Karnas's book, The Ultra Marathon Man, and he had ran that relay, the 200-mile relay, the 10-person relay. It was like he did it solo. And so I said, I need to do that solo. If Dean could do it, I could do it. Remember, I always say that. Yeah, it's not always true, but I always say it. But I went out there and I ran that 10-person relay solo. I did it, 200 miles. So that was a long time ago. And now it's like freaking in. 200 milers are in. And
they're the thing, which is still weird to me.
That girl puts on a good race. What's her name? Who's the race director? She's
Candace.
Great. Candace puts on a great race. I hear her energy. She's really into it. Plus she ran like 50 Ks. You know, she walks her talk, man, for like 6 months or something. She ran a 50K a day.
Yeah, that was
incredible, man.
So does that kind of stuff, you see someone else do it, you're like, I can do that too. And that's such a contagious thing, right? Of like, if you're saying it, why am I not saying it, right? And that's like, there's this chain reaction that's really motivating. So when you meet someone, or someone knows of Epic Bill, or has seen some of the things you've been successful at or failed at, what do you hope that they get from your example?
I hope that they might have a big dream or something on their shelf that they've shelved away because maybe they had a failure at it, it didn't work out, maybe a bankruptcy, and they take that dream off the shelf, dust it off, and freaking attack it again. Woo woo! And never quit till you get it. Woo woo!
Absolutely. You had toward the end of your documentary, you had a quote that said, "I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do the best I can do, and the best I can do is good enough." And that really stuck with me too, of like, sometimes as athletes, we might say that, and I might even say that to, my daughters, right? But it's really hard to internalize that and kind of be okay with some of the things you've done or haven't done. And like, when you say you've done your best, what does that feel like? What does that look like for you? Because some of the things you're doing at your best are things that maybe I won't even dream of doing. But what does that feel like to you? How do you know that you've done your best to kind of like let go of something? Because again, you've had many quote unquote failures, but you haven't completed everything on that list. So how did you know you got the best out of yourself?
Okay, number one, yeah, we were talking about it. So a big thing, I would be really hard on myself when I didn't finish a race, right? Like those Arrowhead in particular, when I wouldn't finish, I just wouldn't say anything to anybody, right? I never even knew how many attempts I had. I just wouldn't quit, and I would just keep coming back out. And I remember, so when people would ask me, they go, "Oh, what are you doing next?" I go, "I'm doing Arrowhead." They go, "Well, haven't you done it before?" I didn't even know how many attempts I had. I would just always say 2 or 3, right? And then when they were filming the documentary, Quinn, the director, who's great, she's great, and she said, "Bill, do you know how many attempts you've taken at Arrowhead?" I go, "No, I don't. I never count them up because I was ashamed, just like what you kind of mentioned, and so I never count them up." And she goes, "Well, this is your 8th attempt." And I'm like, "Oh, that many? That can't be right." She went to like the actual race signups and all that and checked everything, counted everything up. And I go, "Holy cows, that's a lot." And then it was like, after that film came out, it was more like people didn't look at you like you were a loser because you failed. They looked at you like, wow, this guy doesn't quit on his, and his goals, his dreams. It was more of a badge of honor when you keep showing back up and you don't let life beat you out of your dream. You know what I mean? You keep showing up. So it was like a badge of honor. And where was I going from that? You were asking me. Oh, so when I don't make these things, I think it's just like I think that I'm inspiring people. That's what I think my message was. But when I say I do the best I could do, because I'm still really, really hard on myself when I don't finish things. And that's what Jesse, my life coach, had to work on my brain, So when I'm out there, I'm going, okay, I'm doing the best I could do, and my best is good enough, because I don't start thinking like, oh, I'm behind the cutoff. Oh, my God, I'm not going to make it again, And so that is just for the one day. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to go back and figure out what I did wrong, and I'm going to try it again or what I can improve on, But it's really to get me through that event and not put so much pressure on myself when I'm out there and things go wrong. You know what I mean? Like, or Mother Nature drops a big snowstorm on you, you're walking through a foot of powder. That's not going to help my odds of finishing Arrowhead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that you've also talked about courage and how it's a muscle that needs to be exercised. And being able to exercise that courage is what results in a good life. Are you living a good life?
Yeah, I am living a good life. I'm never very comfortable for very long.
You don't sit still, huh?
I always got something coming up that's making me nervous.
Is that a key to longevity, not only just in the sport, but to keep showing up every day? Because, even inspiration will come and go, right? That you can't rely on inspiration to get you out the door every day. So for doing this as long as you have, and to continue to show up just to get out the door on a day-to-day basis, not to show up to these big challenges. Is that courage? Would you call that courage? Or what are some helpful tips, would you say, for others who are considering these? Let's talk a little bit on the
courage. So the courage, every time I do a new event, it's usually going to scare the crap out of me, and it takes courage to go do it, Mm-hmm. And especially mountain climbing, I've done rock climbing, mountain climbing on Denali. Denali, I've fallen 25 feet down in a crevice. I saw a gloved hand sticking out of the wall. In this crevice, and I told my guide the next year I saw a gloved hand sticking out of the wall in this crevice I fell in last year. She goes, "You did not, Bill. You did not." Gosh. So I said, "Okay, I didn't." But I really did. And then I fall, and I've gotten frostbite up there. We were 8 days in a camp. and it was just kept snowing a foot every day, so we couldn't move up. And there was finally a little break in the snow, and so we went for the next, like a little break in the storm, and we went for the next camp, and we got hammered with a blizzard, like minus 20 degrees, blowing blind, can't see. We had to retreat and reset up our tent, and I got frostbite on my thumb because I pushed it a little too much with the liner gloves trying to get the tent set back up. And, but that is where, so to go back up there after I fell in that crevice and these different things that have happened to me, it takes courage. You know what I mean? It takes courage. And I remember I went to a Tony Robbins thing, and he said, write down, like I said, that one, it was probably the same one. I read it in his book, but write down your top fears, and you need to go after those to have a good life. And when you go after fears, it builds courage. And so I wrote down all my fears, and I start with the easy ones, like a binder page of fears. And I started with the easy ones, and I went after those first, because fear.
What were some of those easy ones? Do you remember?
I was trying to think of the easy ones. I only really remember the hard ones. But I know one that was a big one to me was talking in public, right? It was huge. And I remember I went to that Tony Robbins seminar. And he, he talked about, like, we walked across hot coals, and these are your fears. And I remember, like this huge fear of talking in public. Like if I got more than a conference table full of people, I would just it would just really get me. And so at the end of that Tony Robbins thing, I said I'm going to, and here I'm on this really high buzz from 4 days of Tony Robbins. And I said, I'm going to ask a question and face that fear of talking in public, right? 700 people, they're all supportive, right? I got out there in the audience, and my arm felt like it was made of lead. It wouldn't lift up for nothing. So I went home. I was like so ashamed, but I go, okay, I can't take that big of a bite out of my fear in public. But I went back and I signed up for Dale Carnegie course. And so there you start out speaking in front of smaller groups, and you'll get to where you're talking in public, and you get to where you're talking in front of like 30 people in the club, and you get, better and better and better. So I'm facing that fear and building up my courage in it to where I kept talking in front of bigger groups. And my record now is like 1,600 talking to a high school, But in the beginning, I thought I was going to die. I couldn't lift my arm in a Tony Robbins seminar. But yeah, you just keep building them up. So yeah, when I fell in that crevice, I went up on Shasta, which is a hard mountain, but it's a 14,000 footer close by, like 4 hours away from where I live in the Bay Area. And when I went up there to try to climb after falling in that crevice, because I'd waited a year too. If you don't, you got to get right back on the horse. I go, I don't need to mountain climb for at least a year. And then, but that builds up in your head. And so as soon as we started going up any hill, it felt like I was gripping and going to fall into a crevice. And it was like crazy. And, but I took up skydiving because of that. I go, man, I got this big fear of heights.
You do go to the extremes.
I got this big fear of heights. I need to go do skydiving. So I signed up for one of those tandem dives, and I go up there with this guy and I just flown commercial, right? And they go, hey, we got some turbulence, lock up your seat belts and, and whatever, you know how they do it on the commercials. And this guy, he goes, we're like, it's a little dinky plane. We're bouncing all over the place. Then he goes over and opens the door, and this air is all rushing all around. I go, holy cows, this ain't commercial. and then we like walk over. He's like strapped to my back, and I'm like, I look out. I literally thought I was going to die. And the guy, when we finally jumped and went down, he goes, Bill, this guy's done like 4,000 jumps. He goes, I have never jumped with anybody as stiff as you were. I go, dude, that's because I thought I was going to die all the way down.
Just loosen up,
but I
Bill.
went back and I kept jumping. I jumped like 8 times or something. I got up to where I'm doing 20,000 feet with no things in my nose, oxygen, because I'm excessive. But, it helped with my fear on Denali for mountain climbing, rock climbing. I just went after those fears, man.
And, I mean, does sometimes coming to terms with your fears help you realize some dreams that you had? Of like, did that not just help you with the ones you already had in mind, but did it open your doors in some ways?
I think what Tony Robbins said, and I go by Tony, you have your comfort zone. It's a circle, right? That you're in, right? Where you feel comfortable, everything you feel comfortable with. As soon as you go outside of that comfort zone, you can go over here and go outside, the whole comfort zone opens up more. So it opens up your eyes so you could see, your dreams, and you start seeing you start seeing opportunities. As you get more courage, you see opportunities to go after your dreams. If your comfort zone's really small and you're always afraid, you never see the opportunities. They're just closed out to you. You have to get that courage going, which expand that comfort zone, and then you can see the opportunities to go after your dreams.
And so, kind of taking that approach, I mean, you've checked a lot of things off your bucket list, and I know, like, you still want to go back to Arrowhead and keep giving that a try. Are there any other dreams that? And maybe this will be our wrap-up question, because I know I don't want to give too much of your story away, because it's so worth getting into the Epic Bill documentary. Epic Bill on
Amazon, woo, and Apple, woo woo.
It really is.
I'm a promoter too, woo woo.
Exactly. You're a one-man band. You're doing great. But I mean, you have some dreams. No, you're good. You have some dreams coming up still, and you're continuing to go after some things. I know some people are just going to be really motivated after they watch you, listen to your story more fully, see some of the challenges face to face that you've been through. So what are some of the dreams that you have coming up, and how can people continue to follow you aside from the documentaries?
Yeah, well, for following, I'm on Instagram. Epic Bill also has an Instagram thing. I have my own though. Epic Bill Bradley on Instagram. So we try and we try and make that inspiring too. But what was the question again?
What are some dreams that you have coming up? What are you going after
right
now?
I mean,
you said you don't sit still.
It's tricky. Because I had taken 8 years off from swimming, right? I made that 20-mile swim in the English Channel. I was so afraid of water. I didn't learn to swim till I was 35, even though I'm only 30 right now. And I was afraid to swim, deep water, rough water. And so, of course, I had to go after those challenges. And, and I did the Ultraman in Hawaii, which was crazy triathlon over there. And it's like a 3-day triathlon, I think. And one of the girls who finished in front of me, at the award ceremony, they said she had swam the English Channel. And so I go, she only beat me by 5 minutes in the swim. And she swam the English. I told you, I always say that. If she swam the English Channel, I could swim the English Channel. Of course, that was like 13 or 14 years ago and 5 attempts. But it's like I'm kind of stuck on ones that take a lot of training. Like if you're going to swim for the English Channel, you almost got to swim full time, all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then if you go on land, I guarantee those guys who are doing Moab 240 are doing 99% of the time. You may be lifting weights, but they ain't doing a lot of swimming.
Likely not.
But it's like you got to focus. So yeah, I get into a quandrum up here because I don't want to quit on the things I've tried, but I still got other things I want to do on my bucket list. So I'm trying to figure out, on my wall it says I can do everything. I can do everything. So I'm trying to figure out how I could do everything. But it's tricky, man. It's tricky.
So, I mean, we'll follow you on Instagram and will we be able to get updates there on just like some of your training that you're doing?
Yeah, I've been doing more like I'm doing a wall series and what inspires me about other people, and how I'm using them to motivate me. I put some workouts on the wall, Really what I found out with putting my workouts out is like, man, you get a lot of opinions on it, man. It's like if you kind of keep it to yourself, you just kind of do what you want to do,
Yeah.
I mean, I love inspiring people, but I hate having all the opinions, man. It confuses me. And it's kind of like you got to do it your own way,
Yeah. There is a point where those opinions just definitely don't serve the greater purpose.
Well, I look at Goggins. You don't even know I met Goggins in Badwater one year, by the way. I was in a slower heat and he caught up to me, and just said he did that Moab 240 and the one before it, those 200 milers where his knee was, he showed some metal thing that he's putting in his knee. And me and him ran together when he was right before he had his heart surgery. We walked together. He caught up to I was in a slower heat and he caught up to me and we walked for a while and he was a cool guy. It was before he's famous. You know what it was? I went back and he told me I have something on YouTube and I watched the one where he's in the camo gear. I go, this guy's so inspiring. It's too bad nobody knows about him.
And here we are.
But he did that Moab, and I don't know. I really want to do one of those 200 milers. It just looks so much fun, man. A lot of suffering. I love suffering, So I'm trying to figure it out. Somehow I got to swim the English Channel. I got to do that. I got to climb Everest and finish Denali too. It's going to be a busy year that year.
I mean, just do all the mountains at once, I guess. But
yeah, it's confusing. But just keep attacking, man.
Yeah, that relentless forward progress, right?
Yeah, and it is what I told my kids growing up: follow your dreams and never quit. You follow your dreams and you just never quit, man, and you're going to have a good life.
Well, thank you for that inspiration, Bill, and thanks for chatting with us today. Again, there's just something about your energy and your ability to suffer and be courageous. I know that, having been a coach, just going out and doing the thing doesn't take away all the challenges, but you do get to face them. And thanks for being such an inspiration for us for that.
Thank you, Taylor. That was an awesome interview. And I've said it once, but I'm going to say it again. The drop power. Woo, woo.
Got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side.